Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tea Hub. So, what we are starting today is that we are starting with our brilliant startup showcasing their products right in the walkway near Tea Hub. If anyone of you is interested, please go and check out our beautiful startups and their wonderful products. Very good morning to one and all present here, honorable guests, respected dignitaries, our beloved mentors, future leaders, startup founders, and Tea Hub team. Welcome to the most knowledgeable minds of this gathering. I'm excited and enthusiastic about this day. India is a market that provides opportunity in EV space just like it does in petrol and diesel car segments. An ecosystem approach is needed to drive EV adoption on large scale. To emphasize this, we have brought together Telangana EV Day today. On this note, I would like to welcome our CEO, MSR, to address the gathering.
Morning. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see so many people here on a Saturday morning. Yeah. And good thing is, I think we are now behind the pandemic. So traffic is also back to normal. Good to see so many people at Tea Hub on a Saturday morning. So first of all, warm welcome to everyone here. I want to call up a special call out to my friends here in the front. Rajiv, Srinivas Garu, Srikanth, and of course all the entrepreneurs, Gopal, and all the entrepreneurs here, and the ecosystem, people from colleges, principals from colleges, etc. Thank you for being here. Okay. So maybe I'll start with a little bit of a story about how this whole thing came into being, right? Because the chap who brought this story together may be a little too modest to talk about it. So I'll talk on his behalf. So all of you know Rajiv. Rajiv, you can stand up. Yeah. So I met Rajiv, I think about 4 or 5 months back, right? So, and Rajiv is a hustler. Okay. So Rajiv came and said, MSR, we must do something about EV. Okay. So I said, tell me what you want to do. He said, I want to do an EV masterclass. Okay. So he said, EV obviously is the new sector, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And there's an opportunity for us to create large scale skills and large scale employment through EV, right? The EV industry is poised to take off, and as it takes off, there'll be a need for jobs. So we got that going, right? And today is the graduation ceremony for that batch, right? Then I said, Raji, we must do more than just skilling, right? Jobs are created by entrepreneurs, right? So why don't we convert this into 2 streams? Stream 1 is skilling, and stream 2 is for entrepreneurs, right? So I think first, more than anybody else, credit to Rajiv, Harshita, Priyanka, Sriram, and of course all the students who ventured into being the first batch in his class. So when you think about EV, right, I want to share with you a few analogies which I was thinking about as I was coming here today. When did the iPhone come? When was the iPhone launched? Question for you. First iPhone, when was it launched? 2007, right? Who was market leader at that time? No, who was the market leader in mobile phones at that time? No, Nokia. Where is Nokia now? Yeah. So I think the EV industry is also headed that way. Okay. I'm not saying what happened in mobiles will entirely happen in the EV space, but clearly the time for EVs is here, right? And I'll also share some numbers, right? So this year, 2022, projection is about 750,000 EVs will be EV two-wheelers will be sold in India. Okay, compared to 2 years ago, it was 120,000. So the market is growing at 6x in a 2-year window. And by 2030, as you know, India is the largest or second largest market for two-wheelers, right? The estimate is we'll have about close to 18 million EVs sold in EV space in India. right? So almost a 24x in 8 years time. Similarly, if you take three-wheelers and four-wheelers, this year the estimate is we'll sell about 25,000 of each of three-wheelers and four-wheelers. Estimate is we'll be able to sell about 500,000 by 2030, right? So think about this. An industry which was non-existent till a few years ago is going to have such a large market share. Today we sell about 20 million two-wheelers. So essentially what we are doing today on conventional IC based two-wheelers, we'll be able to do the same number in 8 years in EV. Right? That's the first part. The second part is, if you take the total cost of ownership, think about the total cost of ownership. Today, we all know what's happening in Russia, Ukraine. We all know, $104 to the barrel and all of that. So today, I think the good thing is more people are walking because of the cost of fuel, right? So they'll hopefully get fitter type of thing. But obviously, people recognize we have two or three big trends which are happening, which will accelerate EV. Right? First is, obviously, we have committed to sustainability goals. Right? We've talked about moving to zero emission by 2050. We know fossil fuels are running out. India's largest import is petroleum. All of that will force us to accelerate this shift to EV. Right? So in that context, when we are thinking about what we should do, so I want to first of all thank Rajiv, Gopal Garu, and Srinivas. I don't see him here from Rich. We conceptualized this event. We wanted to have an event to showcase, first of all, to everyone here, what is it that is being done in Telangana from an EV space. And as you can see, when you step out, you can see many young, amazing companies building all kinds of things. They're building two-wheelers, they're building three-wheelers for cargo, for transportation. We have battery, we have powertrain, we have charging systems. So pretty much all the key elements of what is required to build a world-class innovation ecosystem around EV is starting to happen here in Telangana, right? And we thought this opportunity today to bring all the players together, right? Which is entrepreneurs, industry bodies, Srinivas Garu, and of course people who are going to play a big role in educating both from an entrepreneurship lens as well as from a skilling lens, right, is critical. So thank you for being here, and we do think this event which we are trying to put together, essentially what one would hope to see is that we'll start to see much more tighter linkages between all the elements of the ecosystem. First and foremost, a big thank you to all the entrepreneurs, particularly from a T-Hub lens. What I wanted to tell you is that our focus for the year to come, we are in the beginning of the new financial year, is on supporting all our entrepreneurs with access to what we call the 6 M's. Markets, money, mentors, manpower, of course motivation and mindset. And I want to just call out specifically one entrepreneur who's sitting in the back, Srikanth. And of course Srikanth will come here and talk. Srikanth is the Hala Mobility guy, the small bikes which you see there on the left. And I think we played a small role in helping Srikanth raise capital. He raised about 2.5 crores. So we really want to essentially support the entrepreneurs to, as they build and scale. We all know entrepreneurship is tough, and whatever we can do to support our entrepreneurs to scale to the next level with the support of the ecosystem is what we are here for. So look forward to the rest of the event. Thank you.
Thank you, MSR, for those gracious words. Now I would like to invite Vyasa himself, Rajiv. He's the Chief Mentor of EV Masterclass, Vice President Business Strategy, ETO Motors. He's the man behind all this event. He has supported us throughout, especially in the EV sector and all the programs that we do under sustainability. Over to you, Rajiv.
Very good morning, all of you. Just to say, I could not sleep last night. Not that I had any health issues, but it is out of excitement. Because I'm sure our parents would have studied in their textbooks that India was a developing nation. And we, of course, studied the same. Probably if we do not act now, maybe the next generation also reads the same in their textbooks that India is a developing nation. But then while this is one side of the story, the other side of the story is when we just reflect into the history of India and then the Indian economy and the Indian corporate, 1980s is where we have seen a mafia of computers industry. The birth of Mindtree, the birth of TCS, the birth of Infosys, Wipro, and all these likes. And we know where they have positioned India in the global map. While we thought we are there, 20 years next, we started witnessing another mafia, which actually questioned the existing status quo then. Can mobiles be affordable by people? Does something called ordering online and then getting the products delivered at home, is it possible? From such questions, the mafias of Flipkart, Indian Amazon, and then slowly big basket, Grofers, etc. From such questions of uncertainty to a market size of close to $164 billion now. And that's the journey in less than just 20 years. And to say we, of course, command the e-commerce market again across the world. Now, why I brought those two analogies is that I'm sure most of you are very young. Definitely, we have definitely missed the opportunity to be part of the computer revolution. And to a certain extent, also the IT/e-commerce revolution. But not to worry, because 2020s is the EV revolution, and you are all part of it. Clap for yourself. The very reason that you are here on a Saturday morning, trying to understand what's happening in the EV industry, trying to play your part, so that when we come together, that is when we can change the destiny of the country. That is when we can change those lines in the textbooks that India is a developing nation, but India is a developed nation, leading the world in multiple things. And if at all there is any country that has the capability and the capacity to be not just the global market, but also be the global hub of manufacturing and R&D in terms of EVs, that's none other than India. And reports say that by 2030, overall, I would say automotive market would be at around $300 billion US, and where EV market alone is expected to be at $206 billion US. And the reports from Niti Aayog also says that EV as an industry would create 50 million jobs. But I would always like to reread this particular sentence. I would say, for India to be the leader in the EV industry, India needs 100 million hands. And out of those 100 million hands, I see some of the hands already here who are taking that part in taking India forward in EV revolution. Thank you very much. There cannot be, I would say, words through which I could actually express my happiness, gratitude, and thanks, because I started my journey into EV industry almost 4.5 years ago when IKEA was in India, and you all know, right? And Gati was the last mile delivery partner for IKEA. There was a mandate to deliver the products through EVs because IKEA was part of EV 100 campaign. That was when I entered this particular EV industry, and my good friend, where is Raja here? Raja, can you please stand? So, he is Raja for you, the founder and CEO of Guy Motorworks. So in 2017, when we are actually looking how do we fulfill the movement of goods through EVs, we started looking at the bigger players. We started looking at Tata's, Mahindra's, Ashok Leyland's, but nobody has a solution. After a thorough research, we found that we have gold mines within Hyderabad. Right? That was when we started delivering the EVs, the first ever deliveries through electric vehicles in India happened through IKEA, and that happened from this very home ground of Hyderabad. And this work was recognized by World Economic Forum. And you will still find this initiative in their reports. Not just that, this solution has been white labeled, and we started speaking about it with Amazons, Big Baskets, Flipkarts, Grofers, etc. And now you see the revolution has already started. In fact, the revolution has started in such a way that there are already policy implications that very soon all the metros, there would be mandate that all the last mile deliveries through e-commerce will only happen through EVs. While we talk about it, now EVs and e-commerce are again like twins. While e-commerce grows, EVs also grow. And while e-commerce penetrate to the rural areas, EVs also penetrate to rural areas. I mean, there cannot be a position, there cannot be a situation where there is so much of tailwinds to EV industry than it is right now. And I really appreciate and congratulate MVSR College and the students from MVSR College who have taken this option to go through this particular cohort, equip and build yourself and make yourself relevant to the coming industry, to the coming revolution, and so that you could be not just the passive observers, but partakers and leaders of the industry. It would be very incomplete. Well, of course, I know this is not vote of thanks, but I am compelled to say it would be very, very incomplete if I were to leave it here, because when I say EV Masterclass and Rajiv YSR, it is not Rajiv YSR alone. It is the complete EV industry that is standing along with me. This is first of its initiative across the world, where an initiative was made by the industry, of the industry, for the industry. I mean, raising all kind of inhibitions and boundaries, and then said that, yes, we need to do that. And one such example is, we have Mr. Venkat Rajaraman, who is the founder, CEO of Signi. When I sounded this idea with him, yeah, he is, and not only that, he mentors the students of EV Masterclass, he also recruited students of EV Masterclass into his company. Then we have Shrikant, who also recruited the students of EV Masterclass. And there are many other companies who are still considering, discussing, talking. I mean, the thing started. And Ms. Sulaja Firodia, founder, CEO of Kinetic Green. We all would have seen that Kinetic Luna, Kinetic Honda, right? It is from the same group of companies. She was there from day one saying that, yes, anything with respect to EV and anything with respect to the ecosystem development, I am there. Kartike Haryani, founder, CEO, Charge Zone. Then we have Pulash Das, who is e-mobility head, CESL. And of course, we have one of the vibrant nodal agencies across the country, which is driving the e-mobility with such a rigor and aggression, is Telangana's nodal agency. And their chairman and managing director, Sri Janay Garu, is also with us. Sir, can you please, right? Who happens to be an alumni of NIT Warangal. And when I sounded off this idea with him, he said, Rajiv, I think, let me talk to the dean of NIT Warangal, and then we should have this particular cohort running in RAC Warangal. You see, right, how the whole industry is coming towards this particular thing. And then we also have Manish. Please, Manish. Manish is a build to operate expert with 25 plus years of experience, and he was also there from the beginning that I think this is the need of the hour. The ecosystem needs to be developed, and then let's do it together. And there are many such kind of mentors. And so we have Gopal Krishnan, who is the auto director. I mean, every player in the industry, right, be it the decision policy makers, be it the CEOs of the companies, or be it the influencers of the industry, be it the consultants, everybody and anybody, when I shared this thought that let's build something which can create a good platform for the students, professionals, and entrepreneurs to be successful and to add to the nation's development in terms of EVs, they all came forward, and that's why we are all here. If allowed, probably out of the excitement, I would continue to talk and talk and talk. And I'm sure a few years from now, we will all reflect upon this first Telangana EV Day and say that, yes, we were part of that particular day, and we could see the industry flourishing and booming. And of course, FTCCI, I'm sure you're all aware, right? It is Federation of Telangana Chamber of Commerce of India. We have their chairman also representing here, and he is committed to build the MSMEs and then the micro and small industries, again focused upon EVs. And what we are talking about, we have Joel Point, we have ChargeNet, oh, we have Mahindras, we have Electra, my good friend Venugopal. Please stand up, right? So he heads the new initiatives at Electra Green, Hyderabad-based electric bus manufacturing company. I mean, if I were to talk about, there is a beautiful participation and representation across the industry. I will reserve some of my words towards the end. And thank you very much, all of you, for coming, and handing it over to you, Priyanka. Thanks a lot.
Today, as you entered, you have witnessed few products that have been displayed by our startups here at T-Hub and the startups that are in EV space in Telangana. So since its inception at T-Hub, we had around 17 odd startups in EV space, and we've been supporting them to move to other markets, mentoring, manpower, and media visibility. This is a strong sector that we have been focusing and nurturing. As part of this, I would like to welcome few of the startups to share few words about their products for about 1 to 2 minutes. I'll start off with, one second. So I'll start off with Joel Point.
Very good morning. And Mr. Rajiv has actually set a very nice stage over here. Thank you for, starting this, the first EV day for all of us here. I think individually we are all working on our own self, but together I think we see today a very big synergy. Thanks for the government initiatives. We have a small EV, if you can just play that.
Today, our planet indeed has been facing the friction of global warming, which is threatening and challenging our very existence. The blast in the increase of automobile usage on the roads and consumption of oils exacerbated the pollution in huge way. With these alarming facts, an alternative from that crisis became inevitable, and seamlessly electrical vehicles evolved in our world of sustainable mobility. Go green, go electric has become a slogan of the day.
We want to build India as a driver in electric vehicles.
Our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji by now showed his solidarity and priority towards the usage of electric vehicles on a large scale all over India.
We will soon put in place a stable policy regime around electric and other alternative fuel vehicles.
This is the Namo Nation's motive today. The government aims to make India a 100% electric vehicle nation by 2030. To align with our nation's motive of creating direct and indirect employment to approximately 10 million people, it is highly needed to promote and encourage the switch to EV vehicles by having a robust charging infrastructure. The EVs currently available are facing problem with poor charging infrastructure. Exactly right here, Joule Point comes on board. We, Joule Point, emerged out of young entrepreneurial dreams, inspired with Modi ji's dream of Make in India. Exactly and affordably took a step ahead and surfaced the startup. Joule Point is a Telangana-based startup company from Hyderabad, aims to build a nationwide network of EV charging stations. Joule Point Private Limited Company started its journey 2 years ago with a great intention and aspiration of bringing a transition and revolution in the automobile sector. The founder of Joule Point, Mr. Rakesh Jain, is a highly positioned technocrat, managing an internationally acclaimed reputed company's legal and global security team. Technical delivery ventured onto the track to carry on the baton.
Thank you, T-Hub. We are incubated as part of ASC T-Hub Foundation and got great support on various aspects of journey.
The dynamic, energetic, enthusiastic young team of Joule Point raced on its way and today stood straight and tall in the market of electric vehicles, charging points and stations. As an enterprise, this startup is the manufacturer, service provider with app services and roadside assistance. The apps are quite easily accessible in mobiles and websites. Its mobile app tracks the vehicle's progress, savings, distance covered efficiently and smoothly. Jewel Point is a one-stop solution for any electrical vehicle on the road, ranging from two-wheelers to 3, 4 and even 6-wheeler trucks regarding charging the power. Artificial intelligence has been induced in functioning of Jewel Point at every juncture. Today, Jewel Point is India's most robust network of charging stations. Esteemed customers of it include South Central Railways, TS Redco, GMR Hyderabad, Green Park, Oakwood Hotels, Haritha Resorts, mega shopping malls, highways, and even recently Jewel Point extended its services with its charging stations at Chinnaji or Swami Ashram, Mochintal in Hyderabad on the occasion of Statue of Equality inauguration. Our model helps generate revenue for individuals or hosts who own the charging stations with parking lots. They can be managed by Jewel Point or its approved vendors and partners. The extension and expansion of Jewel Point all over India through the highways, thanks to the Union Minister of Road, Transport and Highways, Shri Nitin Gadkari sir, for his invaluable initiative in connecting India with extraordinary highways. Jewel Point is expected to be at every 100-kilometer point, spreading everywhere, charging power and rejuvenating India.
We are very proud to be part of the first EV day. Thank you, sir. We want to connect and get, maximum penetration. Let's all help each other and do that. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to welcome next startup, VoltiCharge.net, to speak few words.
Thank you for the Telangana government. So for all initiatives, I appreciate effort taken by Jayesh Ranjanji as well as Janaya Garu. So I'm in touch with Janaya Garu. They are helping a lot. Okay. We are a new startup. We started almost 2 years back, focusing on a two-wheeler charging. As of now, we installed more than 60 residential and commercial places in Hyderabad. We are expanding rapidly. We have offices in Gurgaon and as well as in Bangalore. Delhi, we have more than 30 places and Bangalore of 50. So our target for this year in Hyderabad is 1,000 stations. We are mainly into AC charging and domestic two-wheeler charging. We want to establish a charging zones in a parking lots so that all the residents can charge and they can easily pay their bills. Now there is a lot of problem for infrastructure in the parking areas. And we are creating that infrastructure for all multi-flat and as well as individual houses. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Now I would like to welcome Rapico Motors.
Good morning, my dear friends. My name is Pramod Chabria. I represent a company called Rapico Motors. The first thing I would like to thank T-Hub and all of you for being present and me being invited to speak to all of you. Thank you very much for the same. And I am very proud to say one thing, that we manufacture three-wheelers which is 100% Indian. There is absolutely nothing in it which is Chinese, including the differential braking system, total 100% Indian. I am glad Mr. Jayesh Ranjan was kind enough once to come down from his office and have a look at our machine when we had gone to meet him. And I am very happy to announce that in the Ride Asia Expo happening at Delhi, we are also going to showcase our L5 machine, which is the bigger machine which everybody is talking about on today's date. So far, we have been manufacturing the L3 machine, which is a smaller version. We have the passenger model, cargo model, and L5 will have passenger and cargo also, which is the machine required by Telangana, which has got all the approvals in Telangana. And I had met Jayesh Ranjan sir once and requested him. I had met Mr. Gopalakrishna, I had shown them our product and everything. And unfortunately, I was not prepared to have my video here to really show you the machine. Our machine is available outside to be seen by all of you, and it is 100% Indian. Thank you all of you.
Thank you for making Atmanirbhar product, right? Thank you so much. Now, I take privilege and honor in inviting the engine himself, our Principal Secretary, Industry and Commerce and IT Information Department of Telangana Government, Jayesh Garu, to share few words on this occasion.
My greetings to all of you. Also, apologies that I joined a little late, but I'm very happy that I'm here today. I get a chance to understand the richness of our EV ecosystem. And the presentations that we saw a while ago, they are very, very impressive. I have no doubt at all that if the same trend continues, if people continue to innovate, bring new ideas, bring new technology innovations in the market, Hyderabad eventually will become a real, very bustling, very thriving EV hub, not just for our country, but for the whole world. EV's popularity is rising day by day, and it is also getting aided by lots of global and domestic kind of factors. All of us know that the alarming rate at which petrol and diesel prices are rising, that also is causing lots of concern in the minds of people who drive a petrol vehicle or a diesel vehicle. Similarly, we also have seen now that the Russian-Ukraine war is going on, what kind of oil stress is being witnessed. Anyone who is importing oil from Russia is liable to get sanctions, and at a geopolitical level, this has become a very big issue. And for a country like ours, which relies on oil imports, and because of these kind of uncertainties which may come up from time to time, there's also a huge amount of risk associated with promoting conventional IC vehicles. So definitely EV vehicles, when we were looking back at the growth areas of which are possible in our state in 2014, when Telangana had become a new state, we had spoken about EV. I mean, if you look at our industrial policy, the focus was on automotives and ancillaries, components. We had discussed about EVs, but in 2014, it still looked a bit distant. It was not immediately kind of clear that EVs are going to make such a huge impact. But things have changed dramatically in the last 3-4 years, and now wherever we speak about automotives, we always mention that automotives includes EVs. And one other remarkable thing about Telangana is that we also give huge importance to batteries, storage, energy storage, because EV, of course, as all of us would know, a great component of EVs is the storage facility itself. And 2.5 years ago, when we brought out the EV policy for the state of Telangana, not only did we speak about the vehicle per se, both the demand side and the supply side. How do you create more adoption of EVs? How do you encourage manufacturers of the OEMs, the component manufacturers to look at Telangana? But we also spoke about storage. And most importantly, we also spoke about R&D, because EV, as we all know, is still a area where there is lots of learning happening. Technologies are improving very, very rapidly, but new challenges are also being met. So lots of innovation is definitely required, and the mobility ecosystem that we are putting together, that encourages lots of innovations to also happen. And I'm very happy that today, as a part of the EV Day, we are witnessing bright ideas, bright products and solutions which have been created. There are 3-4 areas which I think we still need to do a little bit of more research.
a mechanism under the PPP mode to have their own charge points or charging locations in such a way that every nook and corner of the city and also the state highways and also national highways to have a mechanism so that anyone with any point of time they can have their own charging point location or charging stations. We had also tied up with the retail outlets of the IOCL and HPCL, and they have given us the locations on all state highways up to the end mile connectivity of our state borders, and we have already floated a tender. Most of them already participated for identifying the charge point operators, and we have allocated them the locations so that they can easily access to their location and have a charge point mechanism starting in such a way. We are also developing an integrated app to have, which will be incorporated all the features, and any citizen can access to that point and they can have asked for the location of the charge point, and also if they are interested to have a charge point location, they can also demand creation also will be features also incorporated, and other integrated ecosystems like providing two-wheelers, what are the available in our state, and what are the three-wheelers available in our state, and what are other things available on EV ecosystem for all the transport mechanism, even including e-commerce system also. We are also having relations with the Panchayat Raj department, where they are procuring more than 25,000 tractors for their entire villages to have wastage removal in each village of the Gram Panchayats of Telangana state, and there you can have tractors where the producers of the tractors can easily accessible to them, and they can easily shift over to the EV systems in such a way that they can save their exchequer in a broader way. In such a way, Telangana State Renewable Energy Development Corporation, very much thankful to the government of Telangana. They have allocated more than 15 crores in this year for purely developing the EV ecosystem in the state of Telangana. That's why we are moving far ahead, and definitely we more look forward to you to be partner of the implementation of the EV ecosystem in the state of Telangana. Thank you one and all for giving me this opportunity, especially Raju, young budding guy. Definitely we are in the part of this ecosystem, and definitely all colleges should initiate in such a way that they should have their own green business centers in future. They can have not only the EV ecosystem, they can also have renewable solutions also in future that can create huge employment potential, I can say, and we cannot imagine how much potential it is having. Definitely green business centers across in all the engineering colleges where there is a huge potential of the manpower available, and all these trainers can have their own training sessions at their respective colleges. And thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Now I would like to invite Srinivas Garamella Garu to talk about FTCC's role in building EV manufacturing ecosystem in Telangana.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Jason Garu, Mrs. Sinha, Mr. MSR, Janay Garu, and Gopal Krishna Garu. When Rajiv called me, I was actually taking this as an opportunity to learn, because I come from an old school of thought in terms of traditional businesses. But now, after all the discussions we had last couple of years, a couple of hours plus the visit outside, looking at all the vehicles there, I feel at my level, when I've seen last 30, 40 years as an entrepreneur, I've been there, sold off the company, and now as a professional, I find that, all these product life cycles have a typical bell curve, right? And EVs have hit that curve where we are getting in from an early adoption to early majority, which is a tipping point. When I think a Brazilian politician way back 13, 14 years ago said the cars are the new cigarettes in terms of emission, in terms of carbon emissions. And that time e-mobility hadn't hit the way it has hit now. These 12 years, a lot of things have moved and the inflection point has come. wherein you will see the next 2 decades, like what Rajiv said, it's going to be EV and EV and EV. When technology marries and couples with something called mobility, which is basically 50,000 years ago we were mobile. From then we've been moving from continents. So mobility is one key feature of human characteristics. Plus technology-driven mobility is going to take the world over. And Telangana government, when I was actually coming last 20 minutes in the car, I was going through the Telangana objectives, policies of EV. It's fantastically mapped, very well done, including implementation strategy. So I'm sure, sir, Telangana government will have an edge over other states. Of course, we need to influence the government, not just having the PLI schemes for the larger players. We should encourage this young, fire in the belly entrepreneurs I see here. The passion that they talk with regarding the product was fantastic. This palpable passion. So on that note, I'll speak a few words and end it because it was more of a learning rather than speaking for me. It's wonderful, and then this April 9th is definitely a significant day for all of us. We need to evangelize, and that's on part of FTCCI. I would promise you that, evangelize April 9th as a day, and we'll have more of these programs being conducted so that, that tipping point, what I said, perhaps can be brought forward to 2023-24. And on that note, again, congratulations to the Telangana government. And believe me, we will evangelize that so that the startup ecosystems, the entrepreneurship with institutions like TASK, the T-Hub, and Rich, I'm sure it is going to be a wonderful journey for the next 20 years. On that note, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Shrikant Sinha sir, CEO TASK, who has been on a mission of upskilling the Telangana state students all over the state, to address the gathering.
I think today when we talk about 9th April, I think as Jay sir has said, this should be the EV day for Telangana, and we definitely welcome that because everything has to have a goal. And I think our goal over here in Telangana is the investment over here of $4 billion and 1,20,000 jobs to be created, which is basically music to my ears because that is what is driving TASK. We are at the helm of ensuring that the youth of Telangana get better employment opportunities, and that's what TASK does. Extremely happy to see that already students are looking at it, but when we came across this policy and we said that how can we look at it, we looked at it slightly differently. Of course, we looked at the numbers, we looked at everything else, and it also reminded me in 2006-2007, I was discussing with my very good friend Chetan Meni. I don't know how many of you know the Reva car, right? Yeah, it's now Sun Mobility. He has moved on, and earlier he joined Mahindra and so on and so forth. But we were discussing over there, and this was a program at IIM Bangalore, where we had launched a program on family business and entrepreneurship. In those days, we are in a different avatar. But at that time, I never imagined that EV would reach these kind of proportions and what we are talking about now. But extremely glad and happy that at least, we are thinking on different terms as far as EV is concerned and looking at how we can actually propel this thing further. Looking at the $4 billion and the 1,20,000 jobs that we need to create by 2030, of course, we are talking about three main things, which is shared mobility, charging infrastructure, development of EV as well as ESS. And when we talk about EV, we are talking about BMS, which is battery management system, powertrain, and everything else also included. But we looked at it slightly differently and we said, what roles are there? Because today, if you look at it, our colleges, unfortunately, are still teaching ICE. While if you open any boot of any car, any bonnet of any car, you will find multi-fuel point injection or hybrid over there, and of course now EV coming in over there. So if we need to make those changes, someone will have to do it, and that's why TASK has decided to get into that space again. And thanks to the initiative already being run by T-Hub as well as EV Masterclass,
We cannot reach 1,20,000 unless until we accelerate it, and that's where task is joining this thing, and we are happy to announce that we would be now working along with this combined to make the ecosystem even much more stronger. We have 718 colleges across Telangana. We have 140 odd engineering colleges, 98 polytechnics, MBA institutions, etc., etc. We would take this program to all those colleges and see how we can really propel this thing. Also, for some of the college principals and students over here, I would like to talk about the job roles. I think when we look at the job roles which are available today, and this is something, because see, my biggest problem today is that people are removing their workshops from the engineering colleges. People are returning back their seats of the core engineering subjects and everything else, and concentrating only on IT. I think the future is everything plus IT. MedTech, Agri-Tech, EdTech, everything along with IT, and that's what it is. So, looking at various roles we identified in the EV sector itself, the first one being working on motors, quality control, test of battery packs, developing wiring in the EV charging solutions. Now, for all of this, you need some kind of an electrical background. Be it polytechnic, be it diploma, be it ITIs, etc. But that's what you require, right? But we are not training them for the EV sector, so how can we work and train them towards that is something that we need to look at. When we talking about, developing algorithms for battery management, right? BMS is an important part of the EVs. How do you ensure that we are able to have the right kind of algorithms? As, Honorable Principal Secretary also said a couple of minutes ago, because of the heat in the fast charging that we are trying to create, it's catching fire. With BMS, etc., with these algorithms, you can actually ensure that trickle charge also takes place in a different fashion. But we need to create those algorithms. We need to have the data. We need the analytics behind it. And that's where probably, electronics, communication engineering, as well as computer science background kind of comes into place. So we are talking about IoT modules, using AI to improve efficiency, looking at, as I said, all these things, looking at mechanical engineering or mechanical side of it, the thermal system, automobile core components, design of the vehicle itself, parts and manufacturing of the whole thing. Again, we require people for this entire thing. When we talk about mechatronics, vehicle design, robotics for part assembly, that is required. Because if we are talking about reaching the numbers that we want to reach, I don't think we can reach it any other way. Chemical engineering, of course, our chemical background, manufacturing, and Honorable Principal Secretary Sir has already spoken about LFPs, etc. But I think today we need to look at it. And of course, if we go into the areas of the new things that will come up as entrepreneurs, battery scrapping would be there. Battery swap hubs has to happen. While we are talking about charging points, how many of us would actually park the thing? I know earlier when River was there, a lot of IT companies in Bangalore used to have those charging points, and if you were having an EV, your was just next to the door itself, and you were you could easily get into your office. But we need to have battery swapping hubs. Last mile connectivity has already been spoken about. ICE vehicle, strapping centers, that's another major area which is coming up, because someone has to remove those cars, otherwise how will the EV vehicles come on the road? So there are multiple such things which are there, and we need to ensure that our students are aware about all these opportunities, that they exist today, and we need to work towards ensuring that we are able to create this 1,20,000 jobs. And we are extremely delighted and happy that yes, already some of the colleges have taken in, a step in that direction. As I said, definitely this is the future, and since it is the future, we have to make it happen. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. As rightly said by you, there are few universities who have taken this initiative. I would like to acknowledge Maturi Venkata Subbarao Engineering College. They are the first ones who have taken and sponsored the entire course for their students. So I would like to really acknowledge and congratulate them. Would be happy if other universities also take on this journey to, push more EV enthusiasts into the ecosystem. Now, I would like to acknowledge few people that have supported the program. It's none other than our mentors. Now, I would like to welcome Srinivas from Rich to speak few words.
Very good morning to all the distinguished guests here. It's an impromptu this time, but I'd just like to introduce Rich and the purpose of the organization as a whole. Rich is, as Jayesh Ranjan sir put it, it's an enabler organization, Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad, and the intent or the main mandate given to us is to bring together research institutions, bring together collaborations with academia, with industry startups, and make sure that there's a thriving, bustling ecosystem in various segments. One of the focus areas which we started off early on, since its creation in 2017, happens to be agri, where we have done phenomenal work. The second area which immediately started off was life sciences. And I wouldn't shy to acknowledge that some of the contributions went into enhancing the production of face masks and other materials, right? So some of the collaborations that Rich put together really pushed the indigenous manufacturing of those. Further now, it's been the EV ecosystem. So I am leading the energy and sustainability vertical, and my focus will exclusively be on bringing in energy efficiency, electric mobility, bringing in digitization in the energy area, right? So both on the utilities and power sector. We are also working with organizations like Cement on e-waste management. So there's a recent announcement on an MOU between Greenco and Cement. Again, Rich was an integral part, bringing the industry player and the researchers together. So with that said, I've been in touch with a few startups over there, pretty energetic discussions, heated discussions, difference of opinions that we exchange, but it's all to make sure that there's a good thought process and then a really successful product out there. Thank you very much, and look forward to collaborating with heads of several institutions.
Thank you. Now I would like to welcome Mr. Venkat Rajaraman, founder and CEO of Signi. Signi is a next-gen energy storage company and defines the future of energy storage across key verticals. He has over 20 years of experience in system design and engineering. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon. It's my privilege to be here, and hearty congratulations to the first cohort of students. I remember Rajiv spoke to me about a few months back, and I had a session that I had taken for the students. Since then, I think I've been interacting with some of the students, and it has been a very enriching experience. I think Srikanth, absolutely articulated the need for this, multi-collaborative effort, right? One thing I have been seeing, we are, incubatee of IIT Madras about 7-8 years back. Of course, since then we have graduated. But what I see is that when I ask for, engineers, especially in the electric vehicle industry, we need, engineers, who are, thermal engineers, who are good at, computer engineering, who are good at semiconductor, who are good at hardware. We are good at, a lot of software. We find that we don't find that, off this thing from the industry, right? We end up almost, first 1 year for us has been training and training and training, right? And clearly we see a need for several such programs, and I truly congratulate Rajiv for spearheading this effort. We need, such programs, because unfortunately our curriculum takes little longer to sort of catch up, actually, right? So that's one. Number two, we talked about mobility. Mobility, we all use this a famous acronym called CASE, right? Which is connected, autonomous, shared, and electric. If you look at it, the connected and autonomous and shared and electric involves lots and lots of, IT plus, right? I know that we have been, extremely good on, hardware and the software side of things. Now it's an opportunity to apply that for electric vehicles, right? So today, for example, we manufacture battery pack. The battery packs that we are giving it for electric mobility application is almost like a mini laptop inside that electrochemical device, right? You have a hardware which is a very high-end microcontroller. You have enough and more of memory there. You have a 4G module that communicates with the cloud server. You have a Bluetooth so that you can communicate with the vehicle. The amount of technology that goes inside is truly enormous, actually, right? So what it means is that, I know that we talk about China being, a leader in lithium-ion cells. India could be the leader in lithium-ion batteries, right? Because we definitely have, all the required skill sets, mobility plus IT to really lead that effort. I think Mr. Jayesh Ranjan was talking about some of these incidents that had happened in the recent past. I thought it would be, if I do not sort of talk about it for a minute, it would not be appropriate. Today, unfortunately, a lot of these ones are all, as I call it, as almost like a screwdriver technology, right? You import the cells, you import the, sort of a battery management system, and then you assemble it and then give it. Such problems are bound to happen. I truly believe that, for example, we have done close to about 125 megawatt hour of energy storage and powered close to about 35,000 electric vehicles. Most important that is that Telangana could be the safety capital of India, right? We could also be the, capital of energy storage, because we are one of the first state which has integrated electric vehicle and energy storage into one. And of course, the state's policy have been extremely good. We are very happy that we are setting up a greenfield project here and planning to employ about 1,000 people here. I truly look forward to, working with you, and thank you so much, Rajiv, actually. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Now I would like to welcome Manish Singh sir. He's a proven serial build operate entrepreneur with strong cross-functional leadership skills, and he has precision for new product development.
Thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity, and thank you to the government and all the leaders and dignitaries over here. This was not part of the plan, but yes, given a privilege, and I feel privileged addressing here. First of all, hearty congratulations to all of you. Similar story like others, Rajiv came to me once and said, Manish, you have been doing build operate pan India, and out of my 25 years, around 26 of them ranging from $5 million to $40 million in India, Europe and US. So Rajiv came to me, Manish, while I was setting up electric vehicle two-wheelers industry, and one of the brands in India, which is actually a US based investment. He approached me, said, why don't we start EV masterclass? And I said yes. And the experience that I had in one session, I found everyone so passionate. Questions were not ending, and I have to stretch, I think, another 45 minutes in that session to address each one of them. So definitely this is a great initiative, and I do support that, representing industry, and I continue to support each one of you. I'm just a call away to all the participants, which are more important today. As we said, it's about the future. Beyond this, while I've set up one manufacturing for two-wheelers, high speed and cargo models and low speed vehicles, and it is all ARI certified. My next move is into contribution in electric vehicle to last mile delivery. Mahindra Trio that you see outside, over here I see a representation. So I have 53 of them running in West Bengal, Kolkata. I represent that built to operate as a CEO of the company, and I have plans to expand that to Telangana and to Andhra Pradesh and also to Maharashtra. I was discussing with Mr. Gopal over here. So contribution from each one of us, pie by pie, cents by cents, will definitely construct the things that we are gearing up for. I'm delighted to share the stage today for that. Some of the problems which are already highlighted by Jayesh Ranjan sir and also by rest of the dignitaries here. Yes, LFP battery, everyone talked, and we were the first. I will say we have all 4 models that I mentioned. They're all LFP chemistry, and you will find Autocar Professional covering about the details on technology with my, if you search it out. Beyond that, the cooling technology as Indian summer weather condition, it was also quoted earlier. That's another thing that we need to look at. Electric vehicle, while we are doing the last mile, and we are already very much be the manufacturers, OEMs, or service provider, or skill development, everyone trying to look at it. One thing which is actually creating a problem while the charging infrastructure and till the time battery charging, though we call it hypercharging or fast charging, it takes 3 to 4 hours. Last mile delivery is not about that. You cannot have a gap of last mile delivery with 3-4 hours when you would like to have a better vehicle utilization. It's more of a the business model issue, which can be solved by having the battery swap solution in place, which can be geared up to have extra batteries to a particular vehicle. Those kind of problems are something that we need to look at, and we can solve those problems. So as I was when I was hearing Jayesh Ranjan sir, I was feeling that he's just quoting what I was going through in my mind. One thing is, look into the problems which are emerging problems while the EV ecosystem being set up. So the emerging problems of the EV batteries having a fire, or last mile solution having challenges of not able to reutilize the same vehicle for the day, while some of those e-commerce companies, Flipkart and e-commerce, have 4 different slots and 4 different shifts. Those are practical problems. And if you're able to solve the problem, then acceleration and growth that we all aspire over here comes on its own, because you go with the flow. So in addition to the technology and the innovation and everything that we are trying to look at those business model operation problems also, and try to build a solution, be it a service level or a product level. That's my 2 cents to it, and thank you, Rajiv, for giving me this.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to welcome Mr. Rakesh Jain from Mitra to speak few words.
I belong to Mitra Energy, and we are from the renewable energy side, around 2000 megawatt renewable power, wind and solar. And also we ventured into, when nobody was there more or less in this particular ecosystem, in the intercity buses, EV buses. So we started the journey from there. The entire ecosystem was not present. So there was a tough journey. Now the things have moved a lot. What we have done in the last 1.5 years is to get into the EV ecosystem investment. So we have started investing in the ecosystem. Recently, 6 months back, we invested in a 3-wheeler L5 electric vehicle OEM. We are also exploring investment in the EV fintech. Now, in the entire discussion, we are missing one thing, that anything and everything has to be revolving around the financing. People can talk of technology, very good. People are working on that. Somebody has to finance the OEMs. That is the missing link. This EV ecosystem cannot sustain 25%, 30% interest rate for this particular journey to continue. Not at all possible. When the other OEMs are getting ICE vehicles are getting at 12 to 13%, 11 to 13% interest rate. So that is one of the area where government, ecosystem players, they have to work together, and much more role to be played by the government in terms of giving some sort of priority sector lending status to them, subsidized loan to certain extent, those sort of aspects for the demand generation, that is very, very much there. But still, the price of electric vehicle may be twice and 2.5 times as compared to the ICE vehicle. So government is giving the subsidy, but ultimately these things also needs to be placed. So we are very intensely looking into the EV fintech space, startup investment. So that's the area where we are just trying to solve some of the jigsaw puzzles from our side as an investor. Now, the people are talking about BMS, TMS, something. Now, BMS, my take is something like this. BMS is going to be commoditized. So the number of people who are working on the BMS system like that, creating this particular thing, well done. They are doing it. They can do wonders. But my 2 cents will be that the specific component in that particular part, if somebody can be able to bring efficiency and the performance improvement, that will be the key. Because there are so many BMS players which is there in the Indian market right now. And maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, you can find maybe 10 to 12 BMS integrated players that will be there. That is going to be commoditized. So the persons like you who are into this particular journey, they should target and create a niche for themselves in that particular part, whether it's the powertrain or in the BMS. So those things are very, very important. Another area where the things are going to be changing in a big way, swapping. So that is one of the area where lots of investment is going to be happening. My feel is that the investment will a bit slow down in the charging station, because now it has more or less commoditized. Swapping with the good technology and integrated technology and solution, that is going to be having a next wave in the next 2 to 3 years time frame. And the government policy is also enabling that. And there is a real demand from the e-commerce players, from the last mile delivery people, because it really reduces the cost of the vehicle by 50%, by 40 to 50%. So it really enables that particular part. So I feel that is one of the area which is going to be there. In the powertrain, what I have seen is that the companies, the startups are getting acquired by the OEMs, by the players who are very much there in the ICE engine motors. So they are acquiring. So that sort of trend which is happening. Very recently, Rizal, we are looking very closely at that Rizal. That has been acquired by MM Forging or MM something. So that is a trend which is happening. So keep this in mind when you are working in some of these areas. Try to create niche for yourself. Anyone who is working in this particular area, don't get into the area which is a me too now. That days are over. That's the 2 cents from my side. Thank you.